Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh, listeners. This is your host Fozia Reddy, and I'm on the Parents Pod. We've had a small sort of lull in putting out the Parents Pods, but we're back again. And today it's a really amazing podcast. I'm joined by Linda Timhajat, and she is a specialist teacher for autism. She's actually the director of Autism Training Centre, and she works both here in London, in France, and in North Africa. She's got a wealth of experience, 12 years as a specialist teacher in London and in the autism spectrum, and 4 years with a specialist advisor and teacher with the local authority. So, Linda, without further ado, welcome and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam, Fuzia. Thank you for having me today.
No, really, it's a pleasure because I'll tell you something, Linda. I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and I've just, over the years, and you and I have had various conversations about this, is that there's a rise in autism, and parents are faced with this um, challenge that they've got to now all of a sudden be really skilled up and knowledgeable about the diagnosis. And let's just get into the deep end. What do you do, and how do you react to a diagnosis if you're a parent? What do you do?
Okay, that's a very good question, Fuzia. So basically, you have to be, first of all, be aware that the matter of a believer is always a good one. If something good happens to him, he said
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And if something bad happened to him, he shows sabr. So I think we have to remember that hadith, because I'm going to be very honest with you, it is not easy news to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially that doctors don't have a good prognostic about what our kids can do in the future. Doctors are really um, can say realistic, but also very narrow-minded about the approach. They would say your child will never talk. I mean, they did say to
mhm,
me 19 years ago, um, your child will never talk. You will always be like that, and you will take care of him for the rest of his life. And as a mother, you need to find strength in your salat and in Allah, and say, look, Allah, I believe in Muhammad and I know that there is no illness without a cure. And it's exactly what I said to myself. Thanks God, when I had the diagnosis, I came out in tears and I said, I believe in Rasul and I know there is no illness without a cure. So I'm not going to listen to his belief. That's his belief that my son will never talk. But my belief, I'm going to try to find out what can I do. So I think
yeah,
the first step is to grieve, because you're going
yeah,
to grieve. You can even go and see a counselor, because some mothers are really hard on themselves. Some mothers think they created it, they are guilty of it. Sometimes even the family in law can be horrible to them. I've heard very bad
yeah,
stories, especially in our Muslim community. So I think it's good to grieve it, because you need to be in a good position to be able to help your kid. So when
yeah,
you are in a good position yourself, then you can raise and then you can help your kid. But if you are here depressed and you don't know what you do of your life, and your life is scattered, your brain is scattered, you can't go very far. So the first thing I would say is salat, fajr, and a good counselor. Subhanallah, and
yeah.
seek Allah's help. Say, Allah, you gave me that test. La yukallifullah nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah
SubhanAllah.
doesn't burden a soul more than what it can bear. So you always have
Allah.
to remember that, because you're going to have very, very tough moments. I mean, my son is 90 now, and I have been having very, very, very hard moments with Muhammad, but also beautiful moments. So I think we have to be
MashaAllah.
grateful for what we have, but we also have to make the sabab. And the sabab is, Muhammad Sallam say, tie your camel and then say tawakkal ala Allah. Don't expect the teachers to do it for you. Don't expect the Senkos to do it for you, even though I'm a teacher, I was a Senko, I couldn't help your kid like you will help your kids. You
Yeah,
love your kid more than I love your kid. So we've got to be
yeah,
very realistic with that. Don't let the teachers do the jobs for you, because yes, they will do their job, but only 20%. But you have to do the 80%. So
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's
And
one
it's fun.
tip.
I guess, like you said, Linda, is that it's sort of finding, as hard as it is, that you're sort of digging deep into your own soul and sort of finding that courage and saying to yourself that subhanallah, if Allah's set me up for this challenge, then surely He believes I can do it. he's honored me to do this, you know, like
Mm.
really, you know, I'd like to reach out to all the sisters out there and mums out there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them. I mean, I'm speaking from, you know, somebody who knows, you know, my younger brother's got global delay. And I'm speaking from somebody who knows what the struggle is and how, you know, how much the mother sacrifices of herself. So, you know, you know, I just want to say that, you know, for our mums out there, you know, you're absolutely amazing people. And this is, you know, may Allah make this path to Jannah open up to you, for taking on this big task and shouldering it, you know. So how do they go about helping their children? Because you just said you've got to do it. You're the
Yes.
80%. How do we
Yeah.
do
So
this?
so you are the 80%. So I think you just said the right word, which is a deep, like digging in your soul. It's exactly that what you have to do. You have to change yourself. You have to change your belief that your child shouldn't be making mess in your house. You have to change all your upbringing thinking and change your mind
Mm.
and do 10 strategies. So shall we go and talk about the 10 strategies?
Before we do that, Linda, you know what I mean, I've been sort of, you know, I'm a teacher in a school, you know, I run a school. I've been, you know, I've seen over 700 children come through our doors, and I've had the privilege of being part of many children's and lives and families' lives. Now, what I've come across is a few different therapies for autism, but one that particularly struck out to me was the handle therapy. Before we go into the 10 strategies, can we talk a little bit about handle? I really want to give it some time today.
Definitely. I am a Handle screener. I went to
Okay.
Brighton throughout a year to do some studies on Handle. Handle is an acronym for HANDLE. H for holistic, A for approach, N for neuro, D for developmental, L for learning, and E for efficiency. So Handle was created by Judith Blueston, who herself was autistic. She passed away. God have her soul. She
Oh,
was an
wow.
amazing lady, amazing lady.
What an
She wrote
achievement.
the book. She wrote the book, The Fabric of Autism, that every parent with an autistic should read, because she explained why your kid cannot wear pajamas and why your kid likes to be naked and people's feet, and she explains all the weird things that our kids are doing, but she explained it from a perspective of herself because she's autistic herself. Yeah. And
Wow.
she what she has done, she studied the science of the brain. So she wasn't like severely autistic, she was on the spectrum that she could study. And when she studied the science of the brain, she saw that there was certain movement that when you do to your body, you work on the vestibular function. The vestibular function is in the inner ear. And this is
Oh,
why
wow.
a child with autism, for example, we go on the washing machine and listen hours and hours because he's trying to do something with his vestibular function. She explained how to enhance the vestibular function. She explains how to deal with it. Why do they need to shout, and why can they do they need their TV very very loud but cannot bear your sounds of TV? So she explains what's happening in their brain, how the five senses are working. But most importantly, she trains people like me. I had the privilege to be with not herself, but the teacher who was trained by her, Sean William, who trained me in Brighton. And I am a screener in Handle. And basically, I have learned how to do some massage. And there are probably like 30 of them I know.
Wow,
30 of
yes.
them that are really good for the brain, to work on the brain. So, for example, I'll just give you one of them that I used to do Mohammed, because Mohammed would walk naked outside. He didn't want to wear anything. So one
Oh,
of
wow.
them was that
SubhanAllah.
Mohammed, I used to put Mohammed in a small blanket and roll him in the blanket and really slowly roll him. And I used to say, Momo, your sausages. I'm going to put some ketchup and I'm going to put some mayonnaise. And I used to tap very hard on his body. Again,
Mm.
proprioception of the body, because we have five senses. Yeah. So
Yes.
working on his proprioception, turning him in a blanket. And then one day he started to put a t-shirt and a short. And now he can do that. When he
MashaAllah.
was very little, Muhammad couldn't have a t-shirt in a house. And he still struggle at time when his senses are overwhelmed. And I'm thinking, okay, vision is not working very well, smell is not working very well, hearing is not working very well, vestibular function inside the inner ear is not working very well, and proprioception as well, feeling your body in space. So if you look at my face or your face, yeah, you look at the
Yes.
eyes, the
Yeah.
nose, the mouth, the hair, and the touch.
Yeah.
And for our kids, the five senses are not working properly. They're not
Mm.
deaf. It's not about being deaf. It's
Right.
about not working. The senses are not developed. So your
Right.
job throughout the years is to develop the senses through play, through handle, because you're going to do some massage and lots of bubble bath with them. So you put yourself swimming costume inside the bathroom. I used to do like 3 times a day with Mohammed, being in the water with him, my
SubhanAllah.
swimming costume on, and I will paint Mohammed's body, for example. I would get ABC in the bath and say, "Oh, look, Mama, A for apple." He wasn't even looking at me. He was in his dreamy autistic land. But I was touching his body. I was allowing him to feel me so then he could stay next to me. Because
Yes.
some of these autistic kids can't even bear you to touch them. So you need
Yes.
to be able to get a paint brush and paint the body, color the body, use some crayons in a bath, but you need to use the water. And why the water? Because they come from water and they want it to stay in the mummy's belly. So you have to go back to this baby thing. And basically,
Right. Right.
why I'm so impressed with Handle, because with Handle you work on like a 0 to 6 month and 6 to 12 month and 12 to 8, and then you develop the senses as you go along.
Right, right. I see. So you're really you're gradually opening. It's like opening up a flower, isn't it? You're gradually,
Exact.
making it easy for them to become more aware. Maybe even, like you said, develop certain senses, so they start to sort of interface with the world. Because at the moment they're very, very insular, isn't it? It's really about them, and
Yes.
them in their own presence, and rather than and they're not really engaging with anybody, not
And
even
they
with the
don't
mom
want to
sometimes.
engage. They don't want to engage. That's the
Yeah, they
thing.
don't
So you
want
need to
to. Right.
show them that your world is a beautiful place. If they have an issue with tactility, you have to make it like, oh wow, come in this blanket. We're gonna be sausages, me and you. Come on, my turn and then your turn. But you have to show them what's not working within the system. And you need
Mm.
to work and enhance that one senses. So if one child, for example, will be smelling people, you will be
Yes.
smelling people's feet, you will be smelling people's hair. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna buy all the smelling. You know when you make cake and you have some aroma,
Yes.
you know? So you're gonna buy all of them. You're gonna say, oh look, this is vanilla, this is strawberry, and you're gonna
Yeah.
work on the senses. You're gonna put into the water. So then that child can develop the senses of smelling. They don't do things for no purpose, my friend.
Right. Right.
Everything they do has got a reason. Everything. So if they are turning run and run and run in circle, it's because their vestibular system is not working, and therefore, because it's not working, they need to turn around to make the fluid happen in their brain so then they feel themselves. It's a
Right.
science. When you read that book or the fabric of autism, you think, wow, our kids, even the kids who are not autistic, who are just hyperactive, were not sitting down on the table or on the chair at school. When I was
Yes.
working in school, I used to say to the teachers, you need to use that cushion and the for him to sit down. You need to use that fidget toy so he can touches it.
Yes.
If he
Yes. And
doesn't touch that, he's
preoccupy
not
the
going to
mind.
listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the brain is not with you. So you need to kind of bring back the brain to self and to yourself. But you need to work on the five senses to do that. Remember,
Wow.
autism is a sensory processing disorder. And
Mm-hmm.
therefore,
Hmm.
because it is a sensory processing disorder, you need to work on the senses. So,
Oh.
handle is the first one. And then you have sensory therapy, which is absolutely amazing. So, even if any mother go out there and Google and put sensory therapy, you're going to see you're going to have to some flowers, some cornflowers, some Play Doh, some painting, everything to do with sensory.
Yeah,
So,
so I understand. So
so
excellent. So
that's
obviously, handle is, just previously speaking with you and engaging with you, I've come to recognize how important Handle is. And I think I've recommended it to some families before as well. And I can see how, parents will, I can see parents wanting to know more about it. And inshallah, at the end of the podcast, inshallah, we'll share your contact details so people can get in touch. So let's just move on. So with regards to the 10 points and 10 strategies that I wanted the parents to go away with today. Tell us your strategies for 10 strategies for dealing with autistic children.
okay. So what I'll do is, yeah, I'm gonna do number one, and then when you see that I've talked too much about number one, you make me move to number two.
Okay.
You tell me
All
when
right.
to move. Yeah, because I have
Okay,
a
no
lot to
problem.
say, but I just want to make it concise. So the number one is accepting your child as it is, as easy as that. So it's not science. It's
Yeah.
accepting qadar Allah. It's not wanting another child. It's not saying, oh, I wish I had that, or I wish I had that, or I wish I had that. It's if the words of if are from shaitan,
Get on.
and
Yes.
you have this, you have to deal with this. So what you have to do is say to yourself, I am here now. I have an autistic child. I'm going to breathe and let go, and I'm going to focus on the good. It could
Yeah.
have been worse. It could have been worse because some people are autistic, but also epileptic, but also with cerebral palsy. I used to
Yeah.
work in a school in Hackney. They were like very, very disabled. So they would be having tubes, they would be feeding night. The men wouldn't be able to sleep because you have to feed the kids. So I have seen all illnesses throughout the 12 years of teaching special kids. And the
Yeah.
only thing I could say when I was coming out at five is Alhamdulillah that Muhammad is only autistic.
Subhanallah
You
Aladdin.
know what I mean? So you have to
Yeah.
do that to your heart. And the reason why you have to do that to your, is because you have to calm down. You
Yeah.
have to find a peace in yourself. You
Yeah.
have to make peace with yourself. You have to go and see a counselor if your mental health is not working very well. Because
Yeah.
some mothers, they're very stubborn about that. And they think like, oh no, this is not from Islam. Islam asks you to take care of yourself.
Yes. And
This is
Linda, in effect, you're not good to that child unless you're okay with yourself. Because I think everything starts with you. If you're
ex-
happy in yourself, you're content with Allah's decree, you're going to be positive about taking on the responsibility, the amana you've been given. Then you're going to have a better outlook on how you're going to deal with the situation. It's just.
definitely. So which is seek support in yourself. Saying that as I'm saying it as a essential point, which means that if you are not focused, if your mental health is not stable, if you keep crying about that, your
Yeah.
child not progress. Not because of you, but because you're not giving him the tool to come next to you. Because remember, our kids, they don't like our world. So if they see
Mm,
someone who is always crying, are they going to come to you? No. Would you
exactly.
like to come to me and have a coffee, Fuzia, if I keep complaining? You don't want my
Mhm.
presence, do you? But if I say,
Exactly.
oh, come, Fuzia, let's have a coffee. We talk about nice thing and I give you nice strategies, to help you send call. You're going to say, yeah, let's go for that cough.
Yeah, yeah,
You
absolutely,
know,
absolutely.
no one likes
Absolutely.
someone complaining. No one,
Yeah,
especially someone with autism. So number one,
yeah. Number one.
accepting
Number two.
other. Number two, to use the resource financially because these kids they will come with their risk, subhanallah, and we've got to be very fair about that. I know some mothers when they've got the DWP, so they can get like for example 350 a month, they can get 500 a month, they can get 560 depending on the level of autism. Yeah, what you
Yes.
have to say to yourself, and I'm going to be very honest with you, my dear friend,
Right. Yes.
this money is not yours,
Yes.
this
I'm
money
with you on that.
is
I completely agree.
his.
Yeah.
Okay, so therefore, when I had Muhammad's money, it wasn't mine to use.
Oh.
It was Muhammad's want for me to train myself in that field and help my child. So
Exactly.
if Handel asked me for 1K, I would give 1K. If the Sunrise will ask me for £80 an hour, I would give £80 an hour. If the ABA therapist wants £80 an hour, I will give it to her. And I will give it to her with a smile and a thanks.
MashaAllah.
I
MashaAllah.
am sorry to say some parents are very greedy about this money and it's not they are not using it wisely. But the bad news is it's going to come against them in 10 years because that child's going to be more violent and more autistic. And you wouldn't have used that risk to help him.
SubhanAllah.
So that's the reason why I'm mentioning that. And some people may
Yeah.
not like me mentioning that, but I have
No,
to.
I think you're justified in saying that. And ultimately, you will be investing your time and money in aiding your child to sort of come out of their moments of difficulty and
Exactly.
hardship, and I think
Exactly.
it's essential. And alhamdulillah, risk, like you said, risk is from Allah, and we can tap into the benefits that are available for the betterment and at least a more quality of life for the child.
Exactly. Remember, you can get car allowances. Car allowances is 250 a month. It's yours. No problem. You're
Yes,
taking care of your kids. Have it. But the 500 or the 300, you need to find a therapist. You need to
yes,
pay someone. You need to buy sensory toys. You need to use the obsession because this money you need it for his obsession. Every
yes,
three days, he's gonna have a new obsession. So you're gonna need to get Thomas the Tank Engine. You're gonna need to use a Peppa Pig. You're gonna have to use all these things that your kid needs. And if you are greedy about that money, you're not gonna do nothing.
yeah,
And you're gonna be stuck there and you're gonna say, who's gonna help me? I'm sorry to say no one's gonna help me if you do not invest. And these people, when I look at them, I had a team of 6 people coming into my house for 4 years, my friend. And
subhanallah.
all the girls who came in my house, I always gave them at least like £5 an hour or £10 an hour. It was 18 years ago, yeah. But I always gave them something because it was the barakah of helping Momo. It could
Inshallah.
have been the neighbor to come and help Momo. Here we are. Thank you. You've helped Momo. So then she can come and help me again because I couldn't do 40 hours on my own.
No, you
I
can't.
needed other people. I needed to
And
pay other people.
yeah, and I want to talk about that later on. Is that reaching out and getting the help from family, friends
Yeah.
is part of you keeping on top of it and keeping sane.
Yes, yes, and also reaching out financially because it's not ape to say, you know what, my friend, you are my neighbor, but I want to pay like £8 or £9 an hour to come and spend 1 hour with my autistic son who keeps spinning round because you're gonna go bonkers by spinning 6 hours straight. But if someone else does it, and someone else, and someone else, and someone else, wow, you've used his money, you've
Yeah,
used his risk, you've helped yourself, and you have helped himself. And by what, sister? By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah gave you that risk. If you
subhanallah.
were in Algeria, work with families in Algeria, you wouldn't have
Yeah,
that risk. You wouldn't.
subhanallah.
So
Yeah,
you wouldn't have
yeah,
the professional to say, look, how much do you charge? I am here. I need your help. You wouldn't.
yeah, indeed.
And by the grace of Allah, I could study 12 approaches, 12 approaches. And all these 12
MashaAllah.
approaches made something beautiful and gave something beautiful to Muhammad. Yeah. So
MashaAllah.
number
Allah
2,
reward you. Number, so we're number 3 now. Okay.
do not react to their weird things. I say weird because they are very different, our kids, I'm telling you. Sometimes they will be smelling people's hair, smelling people's feet, slapping you. Try to not react, yeah? Because the more you're going to react to the bad they do, the more they're going to do it. Our kids like to see cartoons because cartoons moves around. They have a picture, they have some lights. So if you keep lighting up like a Christmas tree at every silly things they do, they're gonna do more and more things. So what you're gonna have to do is,
Yeah.
okay, he likes to put the water on. Okay, let me think about it. Let me go and get again. You have the finance, you have your envelope, you are fine. You're going to go to your toys and you're going to think of special cups. You're going to think of food coloring because then you can pour some water into a like a recipient of that. But then you're going to do the yellow water, you're going to do the blue
Yeah.
water, you're going to do the red water. So can you see how an obsession of throwing, like putting water on the floor, has become a game for me?
Yes.
So every silly things they do, because they do lots of things by the grace of God, you have to think, okay, how am I going to make that a game, a play? Because they are make the house very dirty. They don't understand the proprioception. They don't understand that your mother-in-law is coming and your house has to be clean. They do not care about your mother-in-law, by the way, you
No.
know.
No,
So
it's true. They're not aware.
so
Not
to
really a
be
problem
honest
for
with
them.
you, whether you are upset or not upset, they don't really care less. So what you're going to have to work on is their obsession, work with their play, and see how to react when they're not doing the right thing. So number three, do not react.
Yeah. So number 4.
Number four, make eye contact your priority. Why? When you see an autistic kid, he wouldn't look at you. Again, he finds your world not interesting. Your world
Yes.
is not fun. So if you are here and all day you keep saying, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, don't touch that, and don't go that, I say,
Allah.
oh my
Mm.
God's sake, I am much better in my autistic world, you know. I'm going to say that forever and I want to see your face. But if you are here and say, oh, wow, I love the way you look at me today. You know, when you look at me, oh, I'm so
Mm.
happy. You know, you have to show them that looking at people is amazing. Do you know why
MashaAllah.
enthusiasts do not learn? Because they don't look at you. And they
SubhanAllah.
don't do, not they don't look at you because they don't love you. They do love you very much. But they don't look at you because they do not see the purpose of
Looking at
learning.
you. Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm, mm.
that's why you could see a 32 years old kid with autism who is now a man and who can't even take care of himself, go to the toilet, or is still on nappy, some of them, because they didn't have this thing of learning. You need to
Yeah.
teach them. You have to say, I will teach that kid a different way than I taught my other kids. It's
Right.
basically, good news is the neural pathway of the brain. The neural pathway of the brain, he will have to create different pathway in his brain. And the great news is that we talk about neuroplasticity.
Yes.
Neuroplasticity is that the brain is like a chewing gum. The brain is changing ever and ever.
Constantly. Yes. Yes.
So that is a good news. Even if Mohammed is 19 now, I'm thinking, okay, he doesn't want to see my face. He said to me, Mommy, leave me alone. But I'm thinking, Friday, I need to teach him that. Okay, how am I going to do it? You know what I'm thinking? I need to use that. I need to use that. I need to use that. Because even though he's 19, I still have to teach him, even though he doesn't want me to teach him.
Right. Right. So don't be
You
off
know?
put.
Yeah. So say to yourself, it's a long, lifelong journey, and I do it. And again, I'm going to say something that people are not going to really like, but I have to say it again. You are going to die, my dear friend. And
SubhanAllah.
when you are going to die, subhanallah, no one will love your kid like you did.
Yes.
And when you're
SubhanAllah.
going to die, if you have been using your brain to make his brain work, the day you're going to die, he's going to die with yourself. But
SubhanAllah.
if you give him the tool, say, look, this is my brain. Are you hungry, baby? Yes, I'm hungry. Okay, I'm not going to cook for you. Let's go in the kitchen. Oh my God, I forgot. I don't know how to cook Momo. You show me. He's so starving that he's going to start to cook. That's the
MashaAllah.
way I taught
Exactly.
Mohammed cooking,
Right.
because I never wanted Mohammed to rely on me all the times.
I
Because we
remember that day when I came to your house. Was he making himself? Was it jacket potatoes or something?
Yes, yes, because he has to learn. And remember, Mohammed was born really, really, really autistic. So if people say
Yes.
to me, you haven't seen my kid is 100% autistic. I'm sorry, but my son was 120% autistic.
Yeah. Right. Right.
He's
Right. Yep.
he's still autistic, my friend. So Mohammed is still very autistic, but he's autistic 40%.
MashaAllah.
He used to be autistic 120%.
Yep.
And
Indeed.
it took me 17 years and I still haven't finished the journey and I'm still on it.
That's right. That's right,
But
Linda.
why, my friend? Because we're not going to be there for them one day. And I don't say it in a depressing way, seriously. I say,
No.
wow, We have the chance. We have a beautiful life. Let's do it now, today, at this second.
Right. Absolutely.
Let's go and get to
Allah.
saving. Let's go and find the best therapist. Let's go and do it. Let's find people to come into my house. Let me pay the people who come into my house. Let me make that playroom for him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is
And
why, because
it is also about feeling inspired to make a difference to them. I
yeah,
think that, we do that with other things in our lives. I think I mean, I remember when you changed your direction of your degree because you realized that you needed to
help.
be responsible for Muhammad. Yeah,
Yes, yes. And I knew that Allah gave me a mission. And I
yeah.
know that if I wasn't listening to my Allah's mission, I wasn't listening to myself. We all have a mission in that world, my friends. Even though you are a mother with kids at home, you also have a mission. So your mission is
This is it.
to get yourself together, say, okay, I've got this test. What's the next step? And then
That's
move
right.
on to the next step.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Linda. So let's move on. Number 5.
Join with the obsession. Okay, you're gonna say to me, "Oh my God, that's a
Oh
hard
wow,
one.
yeah. This is a serious
My
one. Yeah.
boy is spinning round and round in circle, and he's spitting on the floor, and he's hitting his brother. How am I going to join with that?" Okay, so this is where I'm going to go with the other point, which is get a room for your child. So if your child is sleeping in his bedroom, you're going to make this bedroom Disneyland playroom. This room gonna be
Yeah.
an exciting place like Disneyland every day. Oh, let's go to a playroom. Let's go and play. Let's go and paint. Let's go and do sensory. Let's go and do Peppa Pig. Let's go. Muhammad's obsession was the Quran. So I
Yes.
guess I
MashaAllah.
studied Quran. So
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, let's draw Moses. Let's draw Isa. Let's draw. Oh my God! Let's do the sand. Let's do the sea, the Red Sea. So I have cardboard. I'll have seaside. I'll have people walking into the room. Like plastic
So you did
people.
tafsir then? Tafsir
Is
of,
that
of,
yes?
of the
You have
Quran,
to go
mashallah.
into the obsession basically. So sometimes some of them it's profit, some of them is turning brand, so you have to use the obsession. Some of them is Peppa Pig, some of them is whatever it is. You have to go deep in it, and you don't say to them, "Oh, but look at this ABC. You have got to learn ABC." I'm sorry, your child is not ABC yet. He's still talking non-stop about Peppa Pig. So we have to use Peppa Pig right now. We have to use Peppa Pig.
Yeah,
So it's to be in the
exactly.
present, use the obsession, make a playroom, and then use that to bring your child closer to you. So basically, when you use Peppa Pig like that child likes in a book and you start to cut it and you start to play, or say, "Oh, actually, she likes what I likes. I want to be friends with her. Oh, she's not
Um,
depressed anymore. She's accepting me for who I am. Okay, let me
yeah,
go to her." And then he's going to start to look at you. And then he's going to
mashallah.
start to speak with you. And then you're going to say, "Wow, I love it when you look at me. I love when you play with me." And eventually the spinning and the rocking and the flapping will decrease because
Yes,
playing
subhanallah.
will increase. So if you go back to your nursery school right now, Fuzia, and you go and check your teachers right now, they are playing with the kids. Our kids never
Absolutely.
played. They never played. So they never learned. So you expect them to learn from where? You have to teach them to play, but you have to teach them to play through their obsession, not through
Yeah,
your obsessions,
yeah,
not through your expectation, through their lenses, for their expectation.
mashallah. Excellent. Okay, so number 6.
Respond differently to crying. When your child is crying, my friend, it is not the end of the world. You do not give him everything he needs because, again, your brain one day is going to die and he's going to need your brain to survive. So you have to show him that he cannot get always what he needs. So I'll give you an example. If your child keeps crying for junk food, because junk food is really bad for them. Yeah, we should all do for autistic kids gluten free and dairy free, but that would be the last point. And you keep giving in because you are tired mentally, physically. When the child is at school, you're not using your time to resource, to replenish. So therefore, when it comes after, you're still dead because you spent your all day not taking care of yourself. So you need to be able to be organized. You take care of yourself during the day. You have a rest, you have a nap, you have that energy, you have the resource. And then when it comes at 3 o'clock, then you have energy for your child. You have to
That's right.
think that when he cries, you don't always give in, because you are teaching him, you cry, I give you. You cry, I give you. You cry. That's not
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
When we grow up, I know that some people do that. Even husbands do that. They shout at their wife to get what they need. But life is not like this. Not because you shout at me that I'm going to give you what you
Let's not
need.
talk about that one today.
Yeah, but to let you know, that's not the way life is. But if you learn throughout your life that you shout at people and people do things for you,
That's right. That's the neurolinguistic pathways. Then you're establishing that I do this, this is then what happens, and then that just becomes the behavior that you practice constantly. You
exactly,
never
but you
stop
can
it.
say to him, look, I know you're crying, I know you're sad, but you know what? It would be great to stay 1 more hour in the playroom because I want to do Paper Pig with you. I want to draw with you. Tell me what you want and we do it. Don't just open the door and let him go and watch TV and iPad. No,
Yes.
because TV and iPad is not going to help him long term.
No. No,
So
at all.
this is
And this is the thing, is that that interaction is completely minimized. And research shows that when you put them in front of these screens, that then it's a one-way communication, and for them, you don't even know if they're making any sense of what they're looking at. There's no
ex-
narrative. There's no communication.
exact. So the next point is give your child as much control as possible. Give your child as much control as possible. So basically, what you have to think of is, okay, my child likes dogs, for example. So you go to the pawn shop and you get everything related to dogs. You get the books, you get the glue, you get the sticks, the stickers, you get the book, and then you say, oh, come on, you know what? We're going to close the door of the iPad, of the playroom. No iPad, no mobile, no nothing. You hear 1 hour, 24. All your attention is here. You are present with that child. And you say, you know what? This is my dog. His name is Doggy. And then you teach him Doggy. And then he goes, oh, wow. You say Doggy. You need to teach them language for what they like. You use
Yeah.
the to teach them language and you need to give them control. So, for example, when I want Mohammed to go swimming, I don't say to Mohammed, you go swimming because I want Mohammed to lose weight. I say, Mohammed, do you want to go swimming on Monday or tomorrow or after tomorrow? But I book for both days, but I still give him the control.
Right, right, right.
They
I
need to have the
understand.
control because it's something that we do more on a one-to-one therapy and I can go deeper in it. But when I observe usually the mother or the father dealing with the kid, I will be able to say, okay, you need to do that. You need yourself to be less control freak. Because some parents, they are control freak. I'm telling you, they want everything with there. It's like my way or the highway. But I'm sorry to say,
Yes.
my friend, not with autism.
Yes, that's right.
With autism, when you go on my website, I've got a tree and the tree have got roots. And the root says, change yourself, change your child.
SubhanAllah.
If you do not change yourself, your child will. So that's why it's your jihad and nafs. That's why Allah gave you that child to change yourself. And then when you change yourself, then you apply these 10 points. So give them as much control as possible, especially in the playroom.
MashaAllah. Okay. Excellent. I think that's a really, really important point. And so number 8.
Focus on your attitude. Again, I'm saying that again. Am I accepting my child today? Am I upset today? Am I cross today? Okay, if I'm upset, I should leave the kid to my husband, go for a walk, go for
Yeah.
exercise. Don't go to your autistic child with anger because you're going to teach him
Mm,
anger. And the bad news is, and this is a reality I'm facing with Mohammed now. I've worked with Mohammed 17 years, and Mohammed is still violent that time. And you could say, "Oh my God, can you imagine?" And I say, "Yes." I say, "Yes, Fuzia, but Alhamdulillah, it could have been worse." You know what I
okay.
mean? That's the
Yes.
way you have to see it. So I'm thinking the more hours you're going to play with him, the more you're going to focus on your attitude. You're going to focus on, okay, right now I'm not very well. I'm not in a good place. Let me drop my kid to school. Let me go to the gym. Let me have a coffee on my own. Let me do some meditation. Let me go for a walk. Let me pray Salat Duha. Let me seek Allah's help. Let me read Quran.
Yes.
Let me do something that I can find peace within. So then when
Mm.
my child comes, I will be at peace. Therefore, I will be available. But if you are 24/7 on your phone, on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook, and you're not available, you know what? He
Yeah.
doesn't care less because anyway, it's not into you. So you
Good.
have to go to himself so then he can come to yourself.
Yeah.
So
What do
it's
you do,
really,
Linda? On that, sorry, on that
yeah.
note, you said about violence. What do you do if they're violent
Oh,
towards?
that's a very hard one. I should say that the violence is the hardest part that I did find in autism, and I still haven't got all the solution related to that one.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I think violence is is really good to start. You know, when I said to you, I did 40 hours with Mohammed when he was young. Yeah,
Yes.
I wish I did 80 hours, and
That's
I
fine.
think if I did 80 hours, Mohammed wouldn't have been violent. But I did it. Yeah. So I accept my qadr and I accept my reality. And I
Yes.
know that I'm seeking lots of support from people. I am not doing it on my own. I am
Good. Yeah.
asking people who have more knowledge than me. And then I'm trying to say, okay. And these people who have more knowledge than me, usually they come up, they say, okay, Linda, are you doing something who has got anger right now in your life? Okay. Yes. Okay, let me deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to clean your head to be able to clean their head, if you know what I mean. You have
Yes.
to clean your mobile, you have to clean your mind, you have to clean your house, you have to clean lots of things to be able to reach with kids. But with violence, you have to stop it from very, very young. And there is no solution to that one, I am sorry to say, except if you are lucky, they are not violent, because there are some autistic people who are not violent.
Hmm.
And if you are not really lucky and this is your qadr, like me, Muhammad has got violence. But Alhamdulillah, it's only towards me, to no one else. So that's the way I have to look at it. Okay. And if he does it, he doesn't do it for the sake of doing it. He does it because he's going through teenagers years. Teenagers years are really, really, really hard for them. And that's why I wish I did my 80 hours when he was 5 years old. So that's why when you say to me, you do it for them. No, my friend, you don't do it for them. You do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do it for you. You do it to have a better life when you get older.
Yeah. SubhanAllah.
Because Mohammed is hard to reach now at 19, but at 5 years old, I could have kept him in this room 80 hours. He would have been happy because he was 5. Do you know the difference? So if you ask me for one advice to avoid violence, will be
Yes.
play, 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 play with that child as much as you can. Because when they go through teenagers, life gets harder for you and life gets harder for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think they don't know how to regulate. Obviously, they still got the
Exactly.
emotions and the, the chemical changes in the body and all of those
And
things. They
they
don't know how to regulate them.
Yes, exactly. And they cannot have, like, when they grow up, they have this, oh, they crush on little girl, or they crush on little boy, and they have all these hormones, they don't know what to do with it. And it's
Yeah.
all craziness in their body, they don't understand what's going on, and you can't
So that
explain
comes
it
out
to
in
them.
anger.
And eventually, you can marry your child when it gets to 21, 22. For our kids, you can't marry them. There are lots of things that comes there,
Yeah.
my friends.
Yeah. I understand
And that's
completely.
why I say that it's good to start young and it's good to have a good team of 6 people to help you. Start
Yeah.
today and you will reap the benefits in 10 years. Have a coffee with me in 10 years and you say, oh my God, we're right.
Yes. SubhanAllah. So true, Linda. So true. So number 9,
Work
strategy
on
number
one
9.
to one in a non-distracting room. So this is where you create a room from that child. You put some creation tool, you put some painting, some flowers, some cornflower, like a nursery. This room becomes a nursery because this room becomes a play. You have to use all the obsession that this child is like. You need to use his obsession. And every day you spend at least 2 hours yourself, 2 hours your husband, 1 hour the neighbor that you will pay, 1 hour your sister-in-law that you can pay or you don't, whatever. You need to find people. You need to put
Yes.
some advert out there and say, look, I'm paying £10 per hour to play with my autistic child. Come, I would train you, I would show you, I would teach you.
MashaAllah.
But then you will have someone who trains you first and then you can train your staff. But yes,
Yeah.
at least the more hours you do, the better it is.
Yeah. Okay, perfect, perfect. And lastly, number 10.
Get more language. You need your child to speak to you. So if your child keeps crying and you give him everything, you are telling him and showing him that life is free. When we
Yes.
wake up in the morning and we work, we expect a salary. If I do not, I'm sorry to say, I'll stay in my bed.
Yes, subhanallah.
Yeah? Not because I'm selfish, but because that's the way life works.
Right,
Yeah?
indeed.
Same for our kids. Same for our kids. Don't give them everything free. You want some water? Water. You put it in front of your eyes and you say, water, water. I remember I used to say to Muhammad, water, water, like 50 times. And he was going, I said, wow, you said water. What? And Muhammad started to speak and beat until 9, 9, 8, 9, he started to speak. But
Subhanallah,
at the beginning,
subhanallah.
Muhammad didn't say a word. The words of Muhammad were tak, 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 oh, tak, tak, oh, tak. You see? I said, wow,
Yes,
I like when you say tak, tak. Does he mean I want to go to bed? And then I say bed, and then I say flower, and then but I wouldn't give it free for him. If he
right.
wanted something, I would put it like hostage to his and make his mouth open. And if he goes, I say, wow, you opened your mouth. And that's the way you get language. And if you
Mm.
are subhanallah lucky, lucky, they start to speak like me and you.
Yeah,
Otherwise they will
mashallah.
speak, functionally, like Muhammad speaks functionally. He will say to me what he needs and what he doesn't need. He's not
Yeah,
Muhammad does not have huge conversation with me, but he tells me, he calls me to tell me when he has a problem, when he hasn't a problem, when the bus he missed his bus, or when someone stole his bus, or when he lost his card. He would call me to say to me, because he can tell me where he is. And this is the basic of life. You want your
yeah,
child to be able to say to the policeman, oh, someone stole me, or someone
yeah.
did this to me. You need to explain that to your child, but this comes later, but it only comes through play, through
Yes.
obsession, and through the playroom. And
Right.
mu'jizat do exist they are from Allah, but mu'jizat
Exactly.
happens from Allah as a gift from Allah, but with hard work, my friend. Yes. And the last point, that's not from the 10 point, is the food. The
Yes.
food is paramount.
Yeah,
The
we wanted
food
to talk
you
about
give
this,
to
isn't
your
it? Because,
child
yeah.
is essential. Yeah. Ask me a question and then
Yeah, I was going to say the diet, and even sort of the content in the way that food is manufactured, grown, etc. It's changed so much, and I know like there's lots of statistics about how autism is on the rise, and the different links to a variety of different things. But in saying that, I think diet is a big part of our challenge as parents to change and to rethink in our own minds, and in our homes. So
exactly. You
do
said
tell us a
it.
bit more about
To rethink your own style of eating. No junk in the house, no biscuit, no crisp, no drink. We only need the creation from Allah. We need meat, chicken, fruits, vegetables, and grains. We don't need anything else.
that.
And
Yes,
the reason
subhanallah.
when you talk about violence, yeah, I'll tell you why. And this is very close to my heart, and why I really want to talk about nutrition more than anything else now is because when Muhammad was doing his dairy free and gluten free and gap diet, and I studied nutrition for 1 year. So I went to CNM in King
Mashallah.
Cross to be able to teach him nutrition. So taught, I learned all these things. Muhammad, I could have said that Muhammad was autistic only 10%. And now that Muhammad dropped it with the teenagers years, he didn't listen to me anymore. I taught him how to use money. So he's having his money, his debit card, and this thing. And then he said, oh my God,
Mashallah.
mommy used to give me hospital food for 16 years. No, no, I'm fed up with her. And then he started junk food. And this is where my son became violent. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying to you, my
subhanallah.
friend, food is is paramount.
Yeah,
My qadar was that Muhammad wouldn't listen to me anymore regarding food. And I speak with it with a very sad heart because I
yeah,
feel
I
like
know.
I feel like I tried everything, and it was the last thing that Muhammad, if he would have listened to me throughout the years, he wouldn't have gone back to his autism world. And I always say to Muhammad, I say, Muhammad, when you're gonna stop your chicken wings, you're gonna stop your violence with mommy, because it's your chicken wings that makes you crazy. And he knows. He loves and say, yes, I know, mommy. Pizza makes me crazy. I say, Muhammad, when you did diet free and gluten free, you were not like this. And I just pray Allah that one day you will come back to me with that, because
I mean,
throughout teenage years, I lost him with the food. But if you work on dairy free, when he was listening to me, and when I had control over him, I could do it. But the hard thing, why I'm saying to you 80 hours, is because when they are young, you start and you work on their gut, you clean their gut, you clean their
yeah,
gut, you clean their gut until the gut is cleaned and restored. And by the grace of Allah, if by 15, 16 years old, they, they keep listening to you, that's it. Alhamdulillah. You will probably not even have violence, because
yeah.
the brain is clean.
And it's probably as well, like you said, Linda, is about that relationship that you would have established through the play, that they would then keep you in that position of reference authority and come to you first, even if they were thinking of making a decision, that, maybe reaching out for something that was not beneficial to them. You would have given that little bit of reasoning to them to understand to make the
Definitely,
right choices.
definitely. And I did do that with Muhammad. It didn't work out, because what I wanted with Muhammad, I wanted to teach him independence. So I taught him how to use money instead. I wanted him to use a debit card. So yes, I taught him money, and I taught him independence, and he can take the bus and use his money and go every places in London. But I lost him with food.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we come with everything. So I won a battle, but I didn't win the war.
Yeah.
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 So this is what you have to think of. That's why that when they are young, is the time. When someone
Yeah.
call me and say my child is autistic, uh, is two, I'm saying to her on the phone, congratulations, my friend. And she gets upset, and I said to you, you know why I said to you, congratulations? Because you woke up when it was two, for God's sake.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. That's
And
so
this
true,
is a
Linda.
beautiful gift that you have, because can you imagine, from 2 to 15, you have lots of time, my friend.
Yeah.
But if you start 10, teenagers, yes, they go crazy during teenagers, yes. Everyone do, not only autistic
Yes.
kids.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yes, so this is why before teenagers, yes, you need to work with them. You need to work on the brain. And food is gluten free, dairy free, as much as no junk food. Let them cry, let them starve. They will never die. I can assure you that, because we all have something that we don't want to die. We all want to survive, and therefore they
Yes.
will eat your food if it's healthy. But if you
Yeah.
keep giving in, giving in, giving in, giving in, they will become fat, they become
Yes.
aggressive, they become violent, and then you will lose them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
food is the key. So when
Linda,
I train people, yeah, your turn.
sorry, I was going to say, it's just really refreshing to hear that, you're talking about a journey which you've lived yourself, and as not just a parent but also a practitioner, and that you can give these anecdotes and strategies for parents to take on board, because I know there's lots of research out there. There's a variety of different strategies that people adopt, and different countries are known for different strategies. But I think what you've just said right now is that, taking on this mission, for your child, starting at a young age, and really being holistic and going back to sort of handle, is, the fact that it's about, holistic approach, you know and as the main caregiver, the mother, um, you've been given this responsibility, this amana, and you can make a difference. I think, it's about, being able to make sort of have short goals, and reaching out to people like yourself, getting in touch, and I want to just sort of, um, before we close the podcast is just give you the opportunity to please share your contact details with with the listeners, so that parents can contact you. They can benefit from your training and your journey, inshallah.
Definitely, definitely. So my website is www.autismtrainingcenter.net, and my number is 07804958646, and you can contact me, and then I will be able to help you. But most of all, it's just be aware that it's a lifelong journey and it takes guts to do, and you will work throughout the year, but you will see good result at the end. And if you don't do anything, you will not get anything. So just be aware that have this tawakkul in Allah, but make
Mm.
the sabab, and Allah does the rest, because we plan, but Allah is the best of planners.
Linda, may Allah reward you kathiran for your enlightening advice and the strategies that you've shared with us. I've certainly learnt so much from you today. I always do when I speak to you about these things, because you've really dedicated your life to to seeking knowledge about this area. And I think that as parents, we have we have a precious resource in yourself. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you, open the doors of khair to you, and give you, the sweetness in raising your son, and seeing the reward of it in the akhirah. Ameen.
I
But
mean,
jazakallah
I mean,
khairan.
thank you for
And
having me today. It was a pleasure.
no, it's my the pleasure's really all mine. And inshallah we'll contact you again, because I mean, this topic always fascinates me. And I mean, I know that there's other areas that you've specialized in. So I think, it'd be good to have you on again. And I'm looking to see if people send in their questions, if there's specific things that they want us to talk about with regards to autism spectrum, and I can get you back on again. So jazakallah khairan. May Allah reward you, and inshallah we will see, oh, sorry, hear from you again soon. And I look forward to speaking to the viewers, the listeners, sorry,
Salam
soon.
alaikum, my dear Faiza.
Alaikum
Take care
assalam
of
wa
yourself.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wishing you the
Amin, you
best.
too.